You sneaky, you're running as an outsider.
I am an outsider.
Is this true? Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
Come on! Come on! Really?
Do you smoke crack cocaine?
Exactly.
Let's give the people what they came for.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Mr. Prime Minister, will there always be a Canada?
There will always be a Canada.
All right, elbows up.
Elbows up.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Ready? Are you ready? Get them out of here! Get them out of here! Get the hell out of here!
Enough with the woke shit.
So the answer to that is to stop being stupid.
I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Get your special sock out, nerds. It's gonna get good.
Is the federal government stealing from us? Are they sabotaging our industry? Are they taking us down the path to communism? Are they censoring us? Are they stealing our guns from us? Come on, let's go.
Let's fucking go.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. We're going to do it live tonight. It's absolutely insane here on The Fringe. We have a lot to talk about. I'm going to try and keep it as calm as we can. There's been interesting developments today. There's a lot we have to talk about. Some uncomfortable truths. That's all I can say. We're going to get into it. I hope everybody's having a wonderful week, regardless if it's snowing where you're at, like where I am. I hope you're all being safe. Let me bring in Matt. Let's get Matt in the show. I don't know if I'm sure he's pretty excited to hop in with the good news. Matt, how you doing today?
Oh, just great.
It's another stroll in the park, isn't it?
Like,
that's
can we just have a minute where things are nice? Can't something nice happen?
Well, for starters, ladies and gentlemen, we should take a moment of silence to thank Tom Lakasik for triggering a referendum in Alberta. It's now verified. If you missed the video the other day, of course, Tom Lakasik's petition verified 405,000 signatures. Regardless of what we talk about on the show tonight, folks, we're getting a vote for independence. I will talk more about what's going to happen with that. Don't forget to hit the like button, folks. This channel is getting uber suppression right now. We're having massive purges of bot subscribers, of regular subscribers. Hit the like button. Don't forget all super chats, memberships, anything given to the channel tonight goes straight to our veterans all the way until the week before Christmas. Join me Friday. I'll put an exact end date on that, but anything tonight goes to that, folks. Merch, book sales, it all goes to a good cause to help our veterans this week. Let's see if we can set a record tonight. Let's see if we can do that.
It's not just us. Several channels that I subscribe to have said that they've been getting demonetized, age restricted, pushed down in the algorithm. It's brutal.
And one of my American viewers said he's noticing it's only happening to Canadian channels that he follows. So little bizarre, but we'll see. It's a little sus, but let's get into it, folks. Let's get a good old-fashioned roll call going on. Then we got some things to take care of, and then we are going to get into the meat potatoes, which is independence tonight in Alberta. Let me know where you're watching from. If it's your first time here, let me know as well. Let's go. I was in a Jason Levine live and had the stream on screen. I could see most of the chat in the live chat. There you go. Well, Jason Levine's great. He had me on his show Monday. Absolutely champion. I'm going to have Jason on the channel soon. Let's get to the roll call. Carol and Gerald joining us from Calgary once again with the LFGs. We got Witzius gifting 5 unacceptable Fringe memberships to the Patriots Club. Welcome to all 5 of our new Right off the hop. There we go. Let's get a record tonight, folks. All for our veterans. Let's go. Mr. Biggs coming in from Edmonton. Mike Freedom Honey joining us from Beaver County. Shout out to Mike. He was on the show last week. Absolute boss on the channel here. We're going to have Mike back on in the future. Go watch his or listen to his Freedom Honey podcast over on X. Janie Mullaney coming in from the land down under. Welcome in. It's good to have another viewer from outside the country. Rodney coming in from Newfoundland. Back of the bus coming in from Rocky Mountain House. Sanj Lee is coming in from Lethbridge. Welcome in. NHL Crazy from Philadelphia. We've got CB Fixes All joining us from the free ceded land of Alberta. Unlike Ottawa. Welcome in. It's good to have you here, CB. Haley's coming in from Cochrane. We've got Susie coming in from Red Deer. We've got a Wickenden coming in from Sudbury. Welcome and good to have you here. We got Cypress coming in from Delta, BC. Jacques joining us from Coopus Casing, Ontario. We got Wild coming in from Edmonton. Wandering Civvy coming in from Red Deer. Mysticals joining us from Ohio in good old America. We love America. I don't know if you guys noticed today some things happened in the Donald's office. We're going to try and talk about that too. Welcome, and it's good to have you here. Walkin' Campbell's coming in from Fort Saskatchewan. Good to have you here. Kevin, I see your comment right under Walkin'. Hold on there. I'm going to get to all the independent stuff. Don't worry. I'm going to try to cover as much as I can. We got Mike TV Dub reporting from frosty minus 20 degree Winnipeg. Stay
minus 34 with the wind chill overnight tonight. I've got to plug in the truck.
Okay, cover up your stinkweed, okay? It's coming in minus 20 degrees, minus 30 with the wind chill. Rock and roll. Let's go. Greg Wilson coming in from Providence, Alberta. It's good to have you in here. Christine coming in from High River, Alberta. Rex coming in from Arkansas. Big Sus, Arkansas here. Welcome in. David Brewer's joining us from Springfield, Missouri. We got Sue Sampson coming in from BC. Gary's joining us from Arizona. We got KJF coming in from Fort Hills, Oil Sands. Good to have you here. John's joining us from West Virginia. It's Mike is joining us from Calgary. No, he's not a troll, guys. Leave Mike alone. I have to say that now. It's kind of like an in-joke now on the channel. But Mike, it's good to have you here. Welcome in. We've got McCam K coming in from YYC, which is Calgary. Good to have you in here. Angela's joining us from Grove City, Ohio. Welcome in. Mike Watson's joining us from Calgary. Carson reminding us there's no snow in Porno Viagra. I'm gonna send some your way, Carson. I'm just for you because we like you. We're gonna send some your way. Guys, I see all these people chiming off in the roll call. I see it all. We got so much to cover tonight. I'm going to have to leave the rest. I see a Langdon. I see some American viewers in there. I also see Steven coming in with a $10 super chat. I just want to congratulate Unacceptable Fringe on his daring escape from Carney's evil lair, in which he was held for more than a day. That personal day you claimed to be on was almost unbelievable, or almost believable. Look, we got to talk about that day really quick. We got to talk about it. Let's get it out of the way before we get into the stream. I have been telling viewers for a long time we had to cancel meet and greets, that we couldn't be doing anything outside of the studio. And for the foreseeable future, I still have to do that. One thing I can do is update everybody on why that was happening. Part of the reason I took that day off. Not only was the AGM extremely busy and daunting, we'll say it was very exhausting. A lot of people I met there. I loved meeting all the viewers there and taking the time to talk to them. Some people had me signing their lanyards and taking photos of them. I've never actually signed autographs like that before. Very humbling and flattering. Kind of weird. I'm not going to lie. But Matt, you and I were talking when you were here visiting a few weeks ago. Of course, we had an incident over at the Fringe's residence. I told you guys before something had happened with the police, something involving the police. By recommendation from other places, a angry, crazy viewer found, and I'm not going to say how, but it was very resourceful of them. They found my home address and paid the Fringe's residents a visit. It was not a friendly visit. I will say, thank goodness, we weren't home. I was out with my family enjoying an evening when I got a call from the police. And the only reason I can talk about it to this extent right now is that charges have been laid. Formally, charges were pressed and laid. This is why I have to be careful about everything, and this is why I took a day off. I've had to securify my home in terms of cameras, in terms of a whole bunch of other stuff that, again, I'm not going to disclose fully here on the stream. But we've been trying to figure out how to make sure that if somebody comes to this residence, they FAFO. And what I will say is that I definitely feel a great swell of pity for anybody who wants to dox me in the future and show up to harass myself. Come at me in the comments all you like. Come at me on Twitter, wherever you like, or you call me fat. I really don't care. But when you show up at my residence, when you show up at my home thinking that, hey, we're going to have a chat or we're going to talk about things, or you end up like this psychopath showing up with a big metal pipe and smacking my front door, shit's going to go down. And that's what's happened here. I'm not impressed.
And I sent you that meme yesterday talking about how if you're not making enemies, then you're, once you start making enemies, then you're obviously going in the right direction. So, I mean, the deeper we go, the bigger the audience gets, the louder your voice gets for these things that a certain segment of the population hate and don't agree with, the more stuff like that kind of happens.
Now, it's primarily why yesterday's day off was taken. I mean, I got the email from RCMP. I was told charges have been laid. It's official. They informed me to keep an eye on the house, and if there were any issues, to contact them. I want to give a big thank you to the local RCMP for assisting in that and helping us get through that and keeping my family safe. They're not all bad folks, but what I do have to say is that it was a bit of a scare. I got 3 kids in this house. I'm just a guy giving you the news on YouTube, and over the weekend there were, and I can take the bad comments, folks. I can take the hate-filled accusations fueled at me. I understand people are going through a rough time. I understand that sometimes I say things you don't like, but what I can't take is when somebody feels they have the right to approach my home, my personal life, and invite themselves into it, and put my 3 children or my wife at risk. Again, I feel a great swell of pity for the next person who does that or tries to do that. I've been told by my producers, don't talk about it, don't anything, but I had to at least stress. That's why I kind of just said yesterday or the day before, look, I need a day. I need one day. The weekend was crazy at the AGM. It's been a whirlwind. It's been an emotional whirlwind on top of hearing about these charges. So yes, it was a very productive day off. I was going to take a few days off. Unfortunately, with what happened today, we couldn't do that because there's so much to talk about. We're going to break straight into it on tonight's show. I got it, Steven. Sorry about the evil air joke. Didn't know that happened to you. Bad timing. It's not bad timing. Don't worry, but you can't. You're not psychic. You don't have ESPN or whatever. ESP.
We like jokes in here. Even if
we're good. I'm good with the humor. We're good with the humor, guys. We always like keeping it funny.
Anything in this chat, just don't go to Derek's house.
Just don't go to my house. Don't show up at my front porch, because the next person who does it, if I'm home, boy, they're in big trouble. What I will say, and keep in mind, I got a cop that lives like 2 doors down from me. Thank God for that too. But anyways, let's get into tonight's show, because here's where the whirlwind started, folks, and here's where we're probably going to strike some chords tonight when we talk about the elephant in the room. As the AGM unfolded this weekend, I was happily accepted as media there. I don't know if you guys, well, you can't see it here because I've got the camera cut off. I've got my media pass sitting next to my Zoltar machine. Happily accepted in as media. I attended the Western Standards Hospitality Suite as long as a few others as well. Danielle Smith was walking around there. I saw Jason Levine. We talked about the show on Monday. I ran into Keith Wilson. I ran into the APP. I ran into quite a few people. Kean Bexty was there. There were so many within independent media, and so many politicians, and so many viewers, and so many YouTubers, social media folks. I don't know if you guys follow Brittany on Twitter, but I ran into Brittany. God, there were a lot of people there. One of the things that was fantastic is that my mic is cutting out. Is my mic cutting out? I hope not.
I don't know. I hadn't noticed.
One of the things that I really loved about the AGM, again, was running into the viewers. I was there, luckily, for Danielle's keynote speech on Saturday. As soon as I left, you couldn't take more than 2 steps before somebody else wanted to talk. Somebody else wanted to get a photo, thank me for everything I've done. One guy even shoved $50 in my jacket. I mean, I felt like a stripper for 5 seconds, but it's. I'll tell you guys.
What did you wear? Because you're usually very obvious when you're out and about.
Well, I was asking for it, but I was.
What were you wearing?
I was just hanging out in a sports coat and a t-shirt. I mean, it was nothing provocative, guys, but hey, I'm flattered. A lot of people, I stood and met people in the lines for the votes for the UCP board. Again, as you go through this U-style queue, every time we looped around another side, somebody would always stop and it's nice to meet you, handshake, and I love your show. Very flattering, guys. I can't thank my viewers enough for reinforcing why Matt and I do this, why Mrs. Fringe does this. It's really a pleasure to be here with all of you, and I can't thank you enough. Getting into the bad parts of the AGM. I've been around politics for a couple of years now. I've been invited to Parliament Hill. I've been around the Conservative Party. I've been around the Liberal Party sometimes, but in passing, not invited or enjoying. But passed some in the hallways. In fact, when I was invited to the House of Commons, actually a couple of Liberals joked and said they knew me and that they'd actually read my book about Justin Trudeau. But I've come to know how a little bit about it. It's a wonderful book, ladies and gentlemen. You should go get it for Christmas. Somebody says I was wearing the apple bottom jeans and boots with the fur, guys. That's there's a song quote for you. One thing that I always said to my wife after going to Parliament Hill was I didn't want to go back there ever again. Because I said it was kind of like the Wizard of Oz, you know, you go and you see how the machine's running and then somebody pulls the curtain back and it's not the way you see it on TV. It's not the way you see it on social media. You know, guys like myself, other YouTube channels that talk about question period, they talk about, hey, look at the policies this guy put out or what this person's saying. And it all seems like it's pretty cut and dry. There's left versus right. There's NDP, conservative, liberals. You start to see a little bit more of the inner workings that you realize when you go down there. This isn't what I thought it was. And it's uniparty. It's a big club and we're not a part of it, to put it lightly. I have been invited to Danielle's office. We showed everybody the photo. I was very proud of that moment. I was very grateful for Danielle inviting us to her office and the time that I got to talk with her. And I left that office telling you, the viewers, that I was confident Danielle was on the side of independence. I can tell you right now, I don't know where Danielle stands. I really don't know. Now, before we get into it, don't take that as, oh, here comes Derek flip-flopping and oh, he's changing sides again, folks. I'm not going to say we can't have Danielle as our premier. I'm not going to say boycott Danielle. I'm not going to say let's call an election and get rid of her or replace her. We need the UCP and Danielle Smith if we are going to get to independence. And I'm going to talk about that in a sec. I do have to get some honorable mentions because they've been coming in. I don't want people feeling ignored. Joe Mama coming in with a $5 super tat. You think the feds will try and block a referendum? Can they even do that? And do you think the NDP recall campaign on the UCP will mess things up? Give me 1 minute and I'll try to answer all of those as we continue here, Joe. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Alberta Gamer, didn't Charlie Kirk also read your How Trudeau Stole Freedom book? I don't know about the book. I spoke to Charlie Kirk once through a chain email conversation between myself, Dave Rubin, and people who'd worked along with Dr. Jordan Peterson. He had said that he'd heard of it. I didn't know if he's read it. But I do know via Sarah Palin, former Governor Sarah Palin, that Donald Trump does have a copy of my book sitting at Mar-a-Lago. Because when we gave her a copy, she confirmed Donald Trump had the copy. She'd seen it in his office. So I was very flattered at that. Definitely the chef's kiss on my career. But here, he loves the Fringe. He thinks it's wonderful. I think Donald's amazing. We're going to talk about Donald. Black Phantom saying we need to stop worrying about Danielle. Whatever happens, happens. We need to focus on our freedom. If that could sum up what we're about to get into, I think that's the best way to say it.
Yep.
I have so many viewers, and here's the hard part, folks. Before people say it's a flip-flop, it's anything else, I want to try and take a second. Please don't go anywhere because it is babbling. But I'm an artist, you see, and I need to paint a picture before we can kind of get to the meat and potatoes of everything. when I'm on YouTube, and the reason that this channel exists is that I want to make sure everybody has the facts that you're not getting on mainstream media, the facts that maybe some people who work alongside politicians but do YouTube don't want to tell you. I want to make sure that when you go to the voting stations, when you go to cast your ballot, when you go to put through policy, because I still firmly believe that there is a portion of that works. I will say a portion, not all of it. That you have all of the tools necessary to make up your mind. I certainly never want to influence my viewers to feel that they have to go one way or another, or that it's this team versus that team. I want to make sure that if you're conservative thinking, like-minded with me, that we're on the same page in terms of making sure all bases are covered. So sometimes we'll talk about good things that are happening. Like I'll say we got the independence vote. Tom Lukaszik's petition went through, it was verified, and Danielle has said in press conferences that she considers it to be a constitutional question. There are other times like today where I'm going to say Danielle Smith completely shit the bed, and now I don't know where she sits. Today was a real eye-opener. And we're going to get into that. My concerns now, as we move forward, are, yes, we're going to get a vote. Yes, we are getting a referendum vote on independence. What happens next is, does Danielle Smith take that independence vote and apply it as a bargaining chip to get us more Quebec-style politics in Alberta, more sovereignty within Alberta? Or does she do what she has said in press conferences and respect that vote and get a new mandate? I don't have a crystal ball, folks. I have to deal with what's in front of me, the same thing I put in front of you. I don't know the future. I really don't at this point, because I ran into Danielle at the AGM. I joked around with her and said, with a piece of toilet paper, look, I have an MOU, and she kind of said a few things. And what's confusing here, folks, full transparency, what makes it so confusing, Mitch Sylvester from APP, the CEO of the APP, after Jeff Rath's cut off mic, was having a conversation with Danielle Smith in one of these hospitality suites. A very firm conversation. And again, I'm not going to disclose what was said in that conversation, despite being around when it happened. But I will say that they still had a conversation in the room. Danielle does not avoid the APP. So when I see the things we're going to talk about tonight, again, it's not saying ban out Danielle Smith and let's kick Danielle Smith to the curb. What we have to find is exactly what was said earlier. We have to walk a fine line to realize we need them if we want to get to independence. I've said a million times before, folks, I don't trust politicians. I'll call them out when necessary, which is what we're going to do tonight. The focus needs to be on independence. We don't need Danielle to do it. Danielle has put in Bill 54. She has given us the foundations for independence. It's now in the hands of APP, and there are things going on in the background, folks, that this is not over by a landslide. I can't disclose some of those things yet, because again, while I have privilege to certain information, certain organizations or certain people that are involved in those things don't want me spilling the beans before they're ready to act and ready to move forward. So just trust, folks, that this is not the end if Danielle is not on board. This does not mean independence is off the table. In fact, it only is going to fuel it further. Let me bring in the other screen and let's finally get to it without my babbling continuing, because we got a lot to talk about, folks. We got a lot to get into. And I'm going to let Matt talk soon. I know I'm kind of cutting him off, but here's the issue here. I tweeted out Danielle Smith this afternoon for anybody who says that I'm a shill or that I'm in her back pocket. What the hell is going on? Jeffrey Rath, who will be on the show tomorrow, folks. I will have other videos dropping tomorrow, but I am interviewing Jeff Rath first thing in the morning tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled. Somewhere late morning, early afternoon, I'll have that interview dropping. And yeah, somebody saying it's frustrating for sure. It's very frustrating on my end. Because Danielle says one thing, and then another thing happens. I talk to her in her office. I ask her straight, plain-faced about independence. She gives me one answer, but then her actions say another. And then she comes out and she has her wording, folks, where I've pointed it out. Hey, this all points to her being on our side. But then her actions say something else. The two-sided talking out of the mouth is getting real old. And I spoke with Jeff this afternoon, and I said she's got to pick a goddamn side at this point. Pardon the blasphemy. But I said enough is enough. Pick a side. I can't do this anymore. Jeff says he feels she's already picked it. Now he talks about an article here that we're going to show. I know there's an echo there when you're talking, Matt. Hold on. Danielle's Jeff Rath comes in. Danielle just told French CBC she will campaign against Alberta independence if she even allows us to have a referendum on independence. So what this makes me worry about, folks, is what we're seeing is Danielle Smith has a vision, we'll say, of sovereignty. I don't think it's independence. You've heard Danielle on stage as we use her words, as we say, the proof is in the pudding. We've taken her words from press conferences that say she's on our side. If you took her words and look at her other conferences, her other keynote speeches, she has said she wants us to be a lot more like Quebec-style politics. What I'm worried about is that what Danielle is going to do is that Tom Lukaszik's petition that has been verified simply asks, should Alberta stay in Canada? I want you to think about that for a moment, because she says she feels that that is a constitutional question. I'm going to get into the article right away, but I want you guys to think about this before we get into that article. Because I sat with Mrs. Fringe and said, why would she allow us to hold a referendum? Why would she give us Bill 54? Why would she put forward Bill 1 and talk about castle laws and all these things that add to our sovereignty, but then say, I won't stand on the side of independence? The wife had a very good point. What if Danielle takes Tom Lukaszik's petition and allows a referendum, and if it gets 40%, 50%, hell, 70% of the vote that no, we don't want to stay in Canada? Well, what if she takes that to Ottawa and says, here's your bargaining chip now to fix things. We want to be more like Quebec. The transfer payments continue, but we have more control over our laws, over everything else. A lot of people might say, hey, that's not a bad deal. How's it worked out for Quebec so far? Not very good. In fact, Quebec's already talking about staging their own referendum.
Again.
Here's where I think it's different. With APP, when you look at APP, their question is very specific. Do you agree the province Alberta shall cease to remain, I'm butchering it, but will it cease to remain a province in the country of Canada? I'm sorry I don't have it pulled up in front of me, folks. I've said it so many times and I should have it memorized by now. But it specifically asks, do you agree that it will not cease to be a part of Canada? Keep in mind, we're still waiting for the judge to put that through. If the judge does not put it through at this point, then my fears grow even larger for what Danielle will do with Lukaszik's petition. It'll be more like Quebec. Here's the actual article. Here's the interview. We had it translated to English because it was in French. Let's actually keep it like this so everybody can see everything. Here's where we go down. I'll go through it for context so everybody has the whole story. Radio Canada had the opportunity to speak with Premier Danielle Smith for a year-end interview. Here's a roundup of the highlights. Now, this article came out November 27th. I actually was aware of this article going into the AGM. I didn't get a chance to ask Danielle about it, but I was waiting to hear from APP. I was waiting to hear from others. Again, folks, I didn't want a motion to take over. Let's get facts. But Jeff Rath tweets it out today. Everybody's talking about this today. And now I know where people are standing on this. Danielle Smith would campaign against sovereignty. Danielle Smith stated that she would campaign for the Federalist camp in the event that a referendum on sovereignty was held next year. So this isn't an interview from 6 months ago, from April or March, when she first talked about it. It's right there in her quotes. She stated that she had tried to strengthen public confidence in Canada. Therefore, I felt that my mission over the past few months had been to restore people's confidence in Canada and in the relationship between Canada and Alberta. Danielle Smith made these comments as the Federalist petition, Forever Canada, gathered enough signatures to be submitted to the Legislative Assembly. When asked if she would organize political rallies in support of federalism, Danielle Smith replied that she had no problem saying loud and clear that Canada can work. So that is her picking a side, folks. As far as I'm concerned, this isn't 4D chess anymore. This isn't Danielle saying, hey, we're just going to try and make it look like it's working. Everybody else can see that it's not. All of that is still happening, folks. Those people in the middle are still going to see that Canada doesn't work. And it will pull votes over to independence. It says she, however, declined to confirm whether the government would actually hold a referendum on the issue. Now, that's different from what she's told us. She says a citizen-led initiative will give them a new mandate. However, the final decision on whether or not to hold a vote on the issue rests with her. The law stipulates that the government will present the question to a committee of the Legislative Assembly. The UCP government, holding a majority, could decide not to hold a referendum, even though Danielle Smith promised one in May of 2025. She goes on to say, I think Alberta's culture is quite unique, and I think the fact that we celebrate the Stampede year after year, that it's fun to dress up as cowboys, I think that also celebrates this incredible heritage, and we have wonderful stories to tell. Danielle Smith visited, well, that's just it. She's saying that we have stories to tell within Canada. Everything's, we're still a part of Canada. Quebec must respect the fact that we do things differently in Alberta and that a national government should not try to impose its will and vision on any of the member provinces. I think that's perhaps why we found, so it's perhaps why we found that we have some additional points in common with Quebec. So this again is where Danielle's talking about us being more like Quebec. It's more like Quebec.
But
she doesn't stand
all the
with
provinces
independence.
Have that authority to tell the feds to kick rocks, just like Quebec has done for years and like Alberta has started to do under Danielle Smith. It's just none of them have for so long that people don't realize that they can or should.
So Martin says here, referendum will replace her. She's better learned she must do as she is told by her voters or be replaced. That's kind of where the problem is here. And again, I don't want to see... I don't want to be known as causing a disruption in the UCP party, but the problem with the fine line we have to walk, folks, is, again, there's certain things I can't talk about yet. That there are other options should we decide eventually that the UCP isn't working for us. And those options are coming. I can't say anymore. I really can't say anymore yet. And when the day comes that I can...
They're going to come?
Are we saying, well, I'm saying one way or another, folks, independence is the genie's out of the bottle. And one way or another, folks, it's going to come.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm going to come.
Okay. So... Stephen, I appreciate this. Left the channel for a bit, but after listening to different channels, I think you have it covered. I appreciate that.
We said last
I'm
week,
going to come.
subscribe to all of them. All of the channels. Watch them all.
Subscribe to all of them. Get your... See, the whole point of this channel, again, isn't to indoctrinate you or try to get you to sway your decision on how to vote. It's, here's all the information we have. Do with it what you will. And that's the problem.
Information that we have, and here's mine and Derek's opinions and what we think about it. Now, take that information, get some other information, and then figure out what you think about it.
So what we have to do at this point, and part of the reason Jeff's coming on the channel tomorrow, I want to hear from APP about this, and I want to hear what they have to say, because ultimately, folks, Danielle, one way or another, has let the genie out of the bottle. So while this Clown Broadcasting Corporation article wants to go on and say, well, you know, we have stories to tell in Canada, and I'll stand against a referendum. She can't. She can't. I can say that was part of the conversation Mitch Sylvester had with Danielle. That was at least the subject of that conversation, while other things were discussed also. But Mitch made it very clear to Danielle, this genie's out of the bottle. You can't put it back in. If Danielle refuses to put a referendum forward at this point, folks, there will be legal repercussions. There will be more rallies. It'll happen legally, okay? There will be rallies. Could you imagine how many people are going to be on the legislature demanding at this point a referendum? You cannot allow Tom Lukaszik's petition to be verified with over 400,000 signatures and tell the other 2.5 million registered voters in this province, well, they all had a voice, you don't get one. That's not how this works. Danielle has allowed for that to happen. So one way or another, folks, we're going to get the vote. That's the good news. The bad news, and it's part of the problem that I walk on this channel, is how do we ensure that we don't get the NDP in power while also making sure we get to our vote? It's such a fine line, because as soon as you start saying, hey, there are good things the UCP has done, like when we talk about, and even Danielle, Castle Law, we talk about her stand against the jab during COVID. She hasn't raised taxes. Kids are protected.
In the gun grab.
Yeah, like all of these things are fantastic. And name me another province that's doing it better. They aren't. But when you look at the promises made on the end of independence, when you say you're going to get your vote, or we're going to have a unity crisis, Mark Carney, if you don't follow through, and then it's excuse. This MOU means nothing. This MOU isn't even a binding contract, folks. It's nothing more than a promise ring. We haven't even got to the engagement stage yet. Danielle has no commitments when it comes to this industrial carbon tax. It's not even in effect. So all the people saying, it happens in April. Nothing happens in April. She's already said
nothing.
Yeah, if there's no pipeline in April, we don't move forward. At least an announcement, something, some form of proof that it's moving forward. So anybody who's got their panties in a knit about that, even APP said the MOU is a nothing burger.
Hey, Derek, I'm going to write on a piece of paper that I'm going to build a teleporter to teleport us back and forth between Winnipeg and Edmonton. Okay, I'm just going to write on a piece of paper. It's perfect.
And that makes it law.
We'll have a big press conference and we'll announce it to everybody, and then it's real.
It's real. That makes it real, folks. Sorry, we're not trying to mock you guys. It's just, but that's basically the same lines, right? JP saying, first time in over 40 years, I had some hope that we could do this. We still can. We still easily can. And again, there's certain things I can't talk about yet. We're going to get there. Stay with the channel. Look at this. My face is covered by the super chat. That's a super chat.
Huge.
There's enough shit from the feds to focus on. Grassroots is the way. Formerly Jay Peterson. Jody, thank you. I really appreciate that super chat. We're still getting it. We're still getting the vote, folks. And APP is going to lead the way. Grassroots is going to lead the way.
So, as you know, when I came on this channel 3 months ago, can you guys believe I've been here for over 3 months already, by the way? No, I am a libertarian at heart. I don't believe in any politician, any party, especially not the federal government. But with Derek's passion and the passion of a lot of people in this community, I've been won over. You know, at that point, I was like, there's no hope. We're past voting anything that's good. We're past protesting to get any good result out of any of this. We're just going to sit here until it all collapses and we can just, go into the woods and be crazy. But Alberta independence has been sort of like the great hope for me. Like, we can fix this. We can reset it. We can take the garbage Canadian seat system that we copied from the British parliamentary system and throw it in the rubbish and start something new. So, but that's not gone. No matter what Danielle Smith says, it's not gone.
Yep. We can do it without her. And I'm going to tell you, if you guys had the information I have, which again is coming, I'm not playing that video clip again when I say that, by the way. It is coming.
We can all think it.
It's play it in your head. Once that information is released, you guys will start to see how we get there, the blueprint for independence. It is very easily achievable at this point, folks, and I want you to bear with me on that. Uncle Chico, $5 super chat. I don't trust Danielle Smith after this deal with her new friends from the Federal Liberal Party. You shouldn't trust Danielle Smith. You shouldn't trust any of them. Again, and this is where I've said from the beginning, folks, I'm not here to make excuses for Danielle. I'm not here to toe a specific line. Anybody who says that I'm shilling for Danielle can guaranteed take to the bank at this point. They're not going to be happy with me putting this video out. I really don't care. The truth is the truth. If Danielle wants to come on the show and talk about what she said or pick a side or say, hey, you guys have it all wrong, my door is always open. She's free to come in here and talk about it all she likes. But I reached out to Danielle's office since this article dropped. I've reached out asking for Danielle to come on the show, and I've been told, we'll see what we can do. Now, I have a direct line to them, and I'm told we'll see what we can do. I don't even call Jeff Rath. Jeff Rath calls me and says, hey, let's do a show. No problem, Jeff, come on. Come on anytime. This is where organization is going to hit the road. And I've always said it's good to prepare. It's good to know every angle to everything and know when to strike. Our chance to strike, folks, is coming. I am pro-Alberta independence, but I am also pro-Alberta. So I want to encourage everybody watching this show tonight. Do not throw in the UCP. Do not throw the towel in that. Because until things change, folks, we need them in order to move on independence. I think we could all agree on that. At least I hope we can. If we throw the UCP to the wayside, and Naheed Nenshi is foaming at the mouth for it right now. He literally wants us to screw the pooch so that the NDP get in and they abolish all of this. It's done.
You're cooked.
Right?
If he gets in,
you're
cooked.
So what I pledge to you, the viewer, is the same thing I've pledged to you from day one. You will get full transparency on this channel. I do not idol worship or put a politician on a pedestal. Sure, it's nice to be invited to their office. Sure, it's nice to have them listen to you and talk to you and say, we value your opinion. We watch your channel. But they're no different than sweet SN. They're no different than Roland. They're just another viewer. The government doesn't get preferential treatment from me. And they know that. It was very difficult walking into that AGM this weekend because there's APP, there's the UCP, and there are others that all want a slice of the fringe because 500,000 Albertans watch this channel every single month. That's incredible reach, folks. Woo! That's incredible reach to 25% of the registered voting base of this province. They all want it. What I've told them is the same thing Doug Ford tried to tell Donald Trump. Channel's not for sale. My opinions are not for sale. When I see something I don't like this French news article, we're going to call it out like it is. That, folks, you can always take to the bank with this channel. You will always get straight, unfiltered truth from Unacceptable Fringe. What we have to do now is... Sorry, go ahead.
That's not flip-flopping. You receive new information from an article that happened today. Or, I mean, it happened a few weeks ago. But like
the 27th.
It made news today, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, it's not flip-flopping to receive new information and alter your opinion. That's what rational adults are supposed to do.
Well, and that's what's kind of funny. Look, I understand people's frustrations when they see that, and it's very easy. We've seen channels that kowtow. We've seen channels that, bend the knee and say, well, we gotta champion them forward. Look at how much it went on before the federal election, folks. How many people, Pierre. And anytime I would say, hey, Pierre screwed up on what he said over here, or I don't like what Pierre did over here. Do you remember, guys, anybody who's been here for the long haul that turned around and said, don't rock the boat with Pierre. He's not going to get in. He's not going to win the election if you say nasty things about him. How'd that work out, folks? And no, I didn't cause Pierre to lose the election. I don't have that kind of pull. God, I wish I had that kind of pull. Wouldn't that be great? We'd all be out of this mess. You have to call it like it is. And if your soul is for sale, you shouldn't be on YouTube covering politics. You shouldn't. JP, $10 super chat. Thank you so much. I'd hoped that Danielle had learned her lesson from the floor crossing. I'm pretty pissed off that she's backsliding. So again, I don't want to say she's doing anything. I'm going to leave that up to you, the viewer. And no, that doesn't mean I'm making excuses for her. I'm leaving that up to your views, your opinion. What I think is happening here is that you have a premier who's talking out both sides of her mouth, hoping that she can skate past the finish line, that she can buy herself enough time to say, oh, geez, independence failed. But guess what, guys? I'm still here. I'm still doing my job. And I'll be honest, I'd probably take that if independence was truly allowed to go forward and failed.
Better than the alternative. As sad as it is, I mean, what are your choices? Her or Nenshi? Pick your side.
What do we got here?
We got to talk about the recall campaign, too.
And we'll talk about that in a second. Martin saying, Derek, after we separate, you better be in our future government. I have my vote because you are not a politician. You are honest. Look, I've already said it. If another party were to form, folks, if there's a Parkland County riding, I will put my name into that hat. I will happily represent the people of Alberta. I will happily fight for open and honest politics. Because I'd love to go into a legislature and tell people to shut the hell up and do what's right. I would love to tell people to sit down and hear what I got to say, but
I don't think there's an actual rule that you have to wear a suit either. You could just wear your neon shit and be like, this is me. This is who I am. I'm not playing your game by your rules. I'm wearing this.
I'm not a part of your system. No. I'd go in there in the black suit with the red tie and I'd be like, who do I got to talk to in here? What do I got to do to get things done around here? Where's my desk? Where are the policies I can put through? Give me an executive order to sign for the Republic of Alberta. I got to have pinball machines and arcades in my office, though. That's my only stipulation. It's let's be
as long
honest.
as you show up for work and don't just walk out in the middle of a session, unlike some other people.
You can call people the R word. What, retarded? Oh my God, that's retarded. Did you guys see Donald Trump did that, by the way? I got a video coming up about that because even though it was old, like a few days ago, I don't want anybody to miss it. It's great. Let's talk about the recalls because this is where I say we got to be careful, even if Danielle's pissing us off, right? Like, no jobs should be guaranteed. No jobs. Danielle's job should not be guaranteed. You've got recalls afoot, 15, including Danielle's. Danielle's announced today. Keep in mind, these recalls have been announced all over Alberta in weak conservative ridings. And when I say weak, I mean like their votes just squeezed by the 50% mark. So the NDP allegedly, we have to say allegedly because they haven't admitted it, is hoping to run candidates for recall in order to replace conservative MLAs and thus give the NDP controlling interest of the legislature. Again, my question for Danielle, why have you not called a snap election? Even Mitch and myself told Danielle at the AGM on Friday, you'd better call an election yesterday. You need an election right now. I know Danielle was told by many people, everybody's going to be here. Nobody's walking away from you. Call an election. It needs to happen, and she needs to squash this recall legislation because it was the sloppiest legislation that was put into power. Again, as I said today, it was the first thing Garnet Jennis said when I asked him about why doesn't the federal government have recall legislation? He says people would be using it every 10 seconds. And look what's happened with Alberta's. It was so sloppily written that you now have 15 MLAs being recalled while unions are going after Danielle, while wackos are going after Danielle. Nenshi's going after Danielle. And keep in mind, folks, he hasn't announced a single policy that he's going to put forward for Alberta. It's just, look what Danielle did. Look what Danielle did. Hey, look what Danielle did. That's all he's got. And this guy wants to run the province. I can tell you right now, folks, after living in Calgary, if Nenshi gets that election, and if he continues the pressure, and if we don't back the UCP, we're in hot water. Because Nenshi has one thing that other NDPs haven't had all the way that he does. The Muslim vote. Nenshi was getting elections called for him in Calgary 5 minutes after they started counting ballots because he had the Muslim vote in the northeast end of Calgary. They outnumber everyone.
And that number is only going up by both people entering the country and the fact that they have 4, 5, 6 kids. So imagine in 20 years, if those 4, 5, 6 kids have 4, 5, 6 kids, have 4, 5, 6 kids, it's an issue.
This is where we say it's an invasion. They're like, and look, I hate saying this because it's all, you're racist. They're like herpes, you know, like you see it and then it spreads. They're everywhere. They breed like rabbits. And they're doing it on purpose. And that's not a racist statement. That's fact. Look into the birth rates in this country. It's fact. We're going to be outnumbered in this province. We have to have our independence. We have to have our sovereignty. Where is it? Nenshi's a compulsive liar, worst person to work under ever. I lived in Calgary when Nenshi was the mayor, and I'm telling you right now, taxes went up like clockwork. No services were installed for them. The guy made a bid on the Olympics and ran up like a $20 million tab. And then at the 11th hour, before they had the committee decide if they were going to bring jobs and everything to Calgary and a new convention center and a new arena and all these wonderful things that Nenshi had touted for weeks about, the 11th hour, he pulls out. And left Calgary with the tab. The Green Line LRT that he dreamed about in Calgary forever, it's still a pie in the sky idea, by the way, has bankrupted the city. He has no idea. For a guy who's Harvard educated on economics, he has no idea what he's doing with money other than spending it. He's a bloated mess. Pseudonym, $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I can't see Muslims voting for Scary Busey. That's one riding, though. Yeah. That's one riding.
And you got to ask yourself, like, people, like, the recall legislation is for citizens to be like, we don't like the person in our area. So how do you get 15 ridings, all declaring it, all at the same time, all organized, all signing petition? Where's that coming from? It's not Billy Bob in his basement all of a sudden deciding to organize all of this. It's organized by somebody much larger.
I have to bring up this weak ass comment because I'll never stop watching, but honestly, you sure are eating crow tonight compared to last week. Man up. We just said it. New information comes out. Look, I have a job to do on this channel. My job on this channel is to give you guys fact, but also to make sure that we do a sense of damage control. If I act like other channels and come out here and say, Danielle did this and it's so terrible and it's so awful, a lot of viewers feel influenced by that, and suddenly they walk away from the UCP and we have the NDP in charge. I have told people time and time again, I will continue pushing what I see as fact until that changes. Until that changes. Maybe the biggest problem, folks, is that I give my opinion. Maybe I should just give you what's out there and then leave it and walk away. But telling me I'm eating crow because Danielle did an interview and showed that she's talking out the other side of her mouth after I put faith into her, yes, I'm naive. Yes, I believed that something concrete with our voting system may have still existed. I believed that she stood in line with independence. I have apologized how many times for that, folks? How many times have I come out and said, if I'm naive, I'll call it like it is? No, I'm not eating crow. These are facts. Things change.
And the other way, too, you can't just ignore that interview she gave and pretend like it didn't happen so that we can keep towing the line. We're not doing that either.
No. Then I would be a shill. William, $5 super chat, the state of Alberta, doesn't that sound good? It does sound, it's always sounded good.
It's a secondary option, but it's better than staying where we are.
Oh, I want to make sure I'm getting the chat because that's what matters tonight. Odds are, Derek, the mystery money comes from the same source as liberal Americans. Well, it doesn't matter where it comes from. Somebody say, tell him a quiet piggy in Trump voice. No, I'm not going to do that. Look, people have the right to their opinions. Viewers have the rights to their opinions. But to say I'm eating crow because Danielle did an interview that we're talking about, once we had fact, didn't I tell you guys we're taking the emotion out of it? And once we have fact, we move forward with it. I'm doing the same thing I've always done. Plain and simple.
Ingest a satchel of Richards, good sir.
You're only as good as the information received. You should be allowed to change your opinion and not be attacked. This is the problem with our society. But it's shit like that that's the reason we're going to end up with the NDP. And that's what I'm saying. Nothing... Sorry, Matt. Go ahead. You got a delay there. So
it's a microcosm for everything where everybody just wants to jump on the latest headline. This. And then on the next day, that. And then the week later, they forgot everything and it's something else. Like, could you just be consistent? And that's what we're trying to do here.
So...
Be consistent.
I've been consistent from day one. Independence is my ultimate goal. We want independence in Alberta. We deserve independence in Alberta. We're better off with independence. That is the end game. That is the goal. How we get there is now the hurdles that we have to cross. Now, from day one, it's been Danielle sticks with us. Danielle's with us. Danielle's on the side of independence. Danielle took me for a sucker, I guess, and convinced me she was on the side of independence. Again, that could change tomorrow. Maybe Danielle gets enough guff from people that she comes out and says, all right, fine, I've been playing 4D chess. I'm on the side of independence. I don't know where she stands anymore is what I'm saying. Because she says one thing and then does another. She puts forward Bill 54 granting a referendum, knowing that people are going to hold a referendum through places like APP. Then she turns around and says, well, I'll fight independence if somebody wants to do it because I think Canada can work. Then why did you put in Bill 54? Why did you allow that? Why have you talked on press conferences for weeks saying, I will support a citizen-led initiative, and if it gives me another mandate, I'll take it? I think Danielle doesn't know what the hell she's doing. What is it Donald Trump said? They don't know what the fuck they're doing, okay? I think that's what Danielle's doing. I think she's scrambling right now amidst all of these unions attacking her, amidst the Nenshi problems, amongst the recalls. I think she's scrambling, trying to figure out where her base is. I got news for you, Danielle. They stand for independence, and you either shit or get off the pot at this point. You can't keep talking out both sides of your mouth. Because not only does it make channels like this look stupid for backing up Danielle and the UCP, but you're going to lose your votes. You're going to lose your base. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what was stupid about comments like earlier, is that it's going to do nothing but divide everybody, and we're going to lose. Independence will die. So how do you want it? Do you want independence, or do you want to sit and bicker like children about, you were right, I was wrong, this person said this guy did that? Stop pointing the fingers and focus on independence.
And just know that all of those efforts, the recalls, the union strikes and everything, this right here, where people are on our side are starting to kind of turn on each other and eat each other, that's exactly what they want. That's giving them exactly what they need. So,
Lana, thank you for that, Lana. I really appreciate that. I saw it. David Brewer said it. Where is he? Derek, all politicians say one thing and then do something else. This is the definition of a politician. Yes, it is. And that's why I've said I don't trust politicians, even Danielle Smith. You can quote me. I've said it in any time we've talked about trust. Trust is earned. I believed Danielle Smith. I believed she had her intentions. I talked to people who have known her for 3 decades that said to me, I believe she's on the side of independence. So she didn't just fool me, folks. She didn't just fool me. Now, keep in mind that before I make videos like this, and before I come out and talk about, hey, we need to ditch Danielle and move forward with the UCP, but we need to focus on independence, I wait for people like Keith Wilson. I wait for people like APP. I wait to see where people are aligned, because no, you don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to upset the establishment, because the things that Danielle has done for Alberta as a province highly outweigh anything any other premier has done for any other province. And if we lost independence and lose Danielle, kiss Alberta goodbye. Kiss the advantage goodbye. Kiss your job goodbye. Your house values, the thought of ever owning a house if you don't own one, kiss that goodbye. What we're in here is a complete and utter political war. And we have to draw the line somewhere and decide, do we move forward as a group, or do we wait for politicians to give us the nod and say, okay, I'm done speaking out both sides of my mouth. It's time to move forward. I say we go for independence.
Don't you fight for your life.
There you go. Clyde has a couple of vids on how trades can get out of Canada and the States. Well, that's good for him, I guess. How come he's not there yet? Nobody gave him a certificate to go to the States.
I've been looking at that, and I am a skilled tradesman. I can do my job anywhere and put my tools in my truck, and it is an option. I would prefer to be able to move to a sovereign Alberta. But I mean, I tell you, man, if you guys lose Danielle and the UCP and the NDP takes over Alberta, it's over forever. You're fucked. And we might have to flee to the US there. We'll pack up the van. We'll load up the kids. It'll be great.
I'll load them up and go to America. It'll be wonderful. I guarantee it. No, I would rather fight for a free Alberta.
I would definitely rather see that.
I love America. I love our neighbors to the south. I love our American viewers. I think they're wonderful. I got to be honest. But I fight for a free and sovereign Alberta because I know its potential. I know what we have behind us, folks. I don't care if Danielle gives us the nod. I don't care if the UCP says we don't want you running for it. I really don't care if you've got a bunch of purple-haired Karens outside with signs saying, you can't leave, it's ceded land and all these other... I don't care. I know our potential because I've read Jeff Rath's Value of Freedom. I know what kind of money is at stake and what the future of Alberta is at stake if we don't vie for our independence, if we don't move forward. People who want to sit and talk about oil companies and say they're the devil and they don't know what they're doing, you don't understand how bad we need oil. It's in everything you do. It's in your jackets. It's in your phones, your computers, your light bulbs, your electricity. Everything you do in this world comes from oil and gas, ladies and gentlemen. The heat that you have in your home. If you want to preach to me that we shouldn't take oil out of the ground, shut your heat off in -30 and freeze your balls off and watch your pipes go cold and snap and tell me you don't need oil and gas. When your kids are dying from hypothermia, tell me you don't need oil and gas. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, until we find another alternate source, that monster needs to be fed, and if we don't feed it, y'all are screwed. Quebec, Mark Carney, the federal government, the rest of the world needs to shut up about green energies and get in line. Alberta's got the third largest reserve in the world. We're going to pull it out of the ground one way or another. And the only way that it's productive and the only way that it's profitable is if we do it in a free and independent Alberta Republic. Screw the rest. Let's take back the West. That's where I will sit from now until we get that vote and thereafter. I hope that's clear. Should we talk about Algoma Steel?
We should. We should get to that.
We should probably talk about Algoma Steel because, boy, that was tiring.
So ranty today.
I'm so ranty. I didn't get enough rest on my day off. I really didn't. I'll tell you one thing. I went to the gym, got some spin in, and it was very, very relieving to get that in.
I wanted to hit this real quick because it's so hilarious to me. For those of us in the shovel community, Andrew Lawton, I asked the government how many SKS rifles there are in Canada, or if they don't know what their best estimate is. The Liberals think there are only 14 SKS rifles in existence in Canada. You can see here they think there's 4 in Alberta, 2 in British Columbia, 6 in Ontario, 1 in Quebec, and 1 in Saskatchewan. And I can tell you and assure you that even just those people I know personally in Manitoba could probably triple that number. Like, I don't know if these people who are competent, who are supposed to be passing these laws, I mean, we already know that, what's his face, Gary there, doesn't even know what a PAL is or how to get one. But can you imagine thinking that there are only 14 SKS rifles in all of Canada? Holy, that is the dumbest thing I've seen on the internet today.
Yep. The government will government. They'll continue saying they know what it is. Witsy is gifting 5 unacceptable Fringe memberships to the Patriots Club. Thank you so much. Somebody says it says bang on your sweater. Yes, it does. Look, folks, we have an obligation to call it out like it is. I know others want to call it out like it is. I know other people want to say we're wrong. That's fine. Have your opinions. Again, take everything we're giving you. Form your own opinions. This isn't a dictatorship. The Republic of Fringe allows free thinking. Here's the problem that we have with the government and how out of touch they are. I don't know if you guys noticed. I got to bring in my screen here. When we talk about Stellantis, the jobs that were laid off, the jobs that went out the window. Hold on, Matt. We'll get to it in 1 sec here. Ezra Levant tweets out today, Canadian taxpayer gave Stellantis $15 billion. Now, this loan was granted while the government knew there were going to be layoffs and that Stellantis would leave. Today, their CEO proudly told Donald Trump they're putting almost that exact amount into new factories in the United States. Mark Carney is a master negotiator. He's definitely a master debater. I'll tell you that. Table Salt has it out here. Canada, are you ready for this red pill? Does Brookfield profit from Algoma Steel conversion from the coke-fired furnaces to electric furnaces? Coal-fired. It's supposed to say coal. It says coke. You might as well put that in there at this point.
That is the right.
Oh, is it? Oh, I thought it was coal. I thought it was coal.
No, it's a special form of coal.
Okay, so I know there's an echo there, folks. Sorry about that. When we do the screen share, there's an echo. Grok says, based on available info, Brookfield doesn't have direct investments in Algoma Steel's EAF conversion. However, folks, Brookfield renewables projects like Prince Wind repowering support the increased energy demand from Algoma's electrification. Brookfield also sold a power plant to Algoma in 2018, profiting from that transaction.
Oh, well, that's what I was going to share.
Well, there you go. I've got a video coming tomorrow about Mark Carney and about a lot of these things. And one of the video clips that's in there is discussed in the House of Commons that, hey, do you really think that a guy who made millions of dollars working for Brookfield left his job just to jump on the grenade and run the country of Canada out of the goodness of his heart and take a $400,000 salary instead of making millions of dollars just so he could do good things for Canada and negotiate fair trade? That's the problem with our government. And that makes me question again why Danielle is so hard up on saying, well, I'm going to fight for sovereignty within Canada. He's lining his fucking pockets. Why do we have him here anymore? Why do these elbows up retards keep voting him in and saying, oh, it's fine, everything's fine, Mark's doing such a good job. He can't get a deal with Trump, but hey, sure can line his pockets, folks. He sure can look after his stock portfolios.
Because do you think the elbows up boomers are reading articles about how Brookfield is selling power and how Carney is making money from Brookfield from selling power to the company that he gave the government loan to? Do you think those people know that or would even believe it?
I don't know. Somebody says get ready for digital trackers in our arse. It's going to sit down. Well, Matt has a funny thing about trackers and things like that. Let's get into that.
Well, the thing about the tracking too is they don't have. People were saying that during the vid about the injections, like, oh, they're going to put chips. They don't have to put chips in anybody. We're all carrying our chips around with us willingly at all times. So for Algoma, they laid 1,000 workers off. They got $500 million in government loans to protect jobs. Algoma CEO Michael Garcia got $5.6 million in bonuses. Executives pocketed millions more. And then so Mark Carney, who's in power now in the Liberal government, gives this company a $500 million loan to upgrade their furnaces from coal-fired furnaces to electric. And then his company, and I don't even care if he's divested from it or whatever you want to call it, he's making money off of Brookfield. We all know it. Fuck off. His company is in charge, or owns the power plants that are feeding this new power-fired plant for making steel. So now it's green instead of coal. So he sets the policy for green energy. He owns the company that, or not owns, but is profiting from the company that makes the green energy. And then he uses government taxpayer money to give to a company to then lay off 1,000 workers while paying the CEO a bonus, which is basically just a kickback. And there you have it. It's all just a big circle jerk of people making money off of our backs. And it always has been.
So I want to pull this one up again. And no, my daddy hasn't ruffled my feathers. If independence fails, Alberta's lost with or without Danielle. She doesn't walk on water. No, she doesn't. Here's the thing. I will tell you that there are gears turning within the camp of Alberta Prosperity Project. And when I can talk about the things I need to talk about, when I can share with you the information that I have that secures Alberta's independence for the indefinite future, I won't be the one being labeled as eating crow, is all I can say. No, Danielle cannot walk on water. But until we have other options, folks, until other things happen in the political realm, we have to stick with the UCP, because what are the alternatives? Please. It's not Cam Davies and his PPC Alberta party. His what is it? Republicans, Alberta Republicans. Alberta Maxime Bernier isn't going to save you, okay? And he's not even going to get the votes. He's not going to quit teasing. Damn it! I can't come out and say certain things. I can't. I am negotiating with APP to hopefully be the official source of their information, meaning when they want to drop info, they come here, and you guys get it first. So I'll be talking with them about that one more. But I'm telling you, folks, this won't be on the UCP and Danielle Smith for much longer. There are other ways for us to gain our independence that are in the works that you're going to be happy when it can be talked about. Okay?
It's not over. I know everybody always wants to jump and react, but this is the long game. We're in the long game. We are not in the end game now.
If you successfully leave Canada, I'll pay you $10,000 to adopt me so I can be American. I'm not adopting anybody. In fact, we've done enough adopting. Lori's leaving the show, by the way. Lori took a job opportunity back where she moved in from. So she'll be moving on the weekend, actually, which I'm very proud of her. I'm happy to hear that. But unfortunately, folks, that means Lori's not going to be on the show for a while. Maybe she'll join us remotely in the future. We'll see. But
no more liberal dog.
No more liberal dog, which is good. We don't have any more cameras getting knocked around or equipment getting dragged off the tables. But we we won't be adopting anybody anytime soon, I got to say. Yeah, we've been trying to figure out how to unmirror Matt's screen since we started this show. There's something weird going on with his camera that we're unable to do that. I wish we could do that as well.
See, when I look at this, I'm perfectly, like, the words on my shirt are straight, and I'm sure you guys all see them flipped.
Yep. Nenshit is a PDF file. Yes, yeah, we all know that. We all know
Jabba the Hutt.
I'm tired of politicians only praising what their land is known for. It is understandable to be proud of where you come from. Well, and that's kind of the thing with Alberta independence. We have the ability, and it's not just about oil and gas, folks. We have the ability to be one of the richest countries in the world and also have some of the best policies in the world. People keep saying, well, you're landlocked. I saw it earlier in the chat. You're landlocked.
They say that every freaking episode. Landlocked.
We're not. Let me explain it again, because Keith Wilson explained it perfectly when he came on the channel not too long ago. In fact, he yelled at me at the AGM because he didn't realize the whole interview his laptop mic was on and not his really good mic. And I didn't say anything, but it's because I didn't want to be rude to Keith. I digress. Keith laid it out. He says, look, if Alberta were to claim its independence, if we were to become a republic, British Columbia needs to get their rail through Alberta. There's no way to go through the United States. There's no way to go around. They would have to come through Alberta. So access to tidewater, just like America. Keep in mind, folks, America doesn't have a tanker ban going through BC's coast. America is allowed to freely transport oil and gas. Alberta would have to negotiate with British Columbia that, hey, if you want to get your products to market, you're going to have to give us something. In fact, all the hurdles that we have to cross right now within Confederation would be eliminated overnight. Canada would still need our natural gas and our energy supplies. British Columbia would have to come up with a deal with us in order for them to move their supplies freely through Alberta. They also legally, according to NATO,
sort of free trade agreement, like, because the highways, they're not just going to we're going to reroute the highways up through Yellowknife and go around Alberta to the north. The highways are all, and the rails all still go right through the middle of Alberta, which would then be a foreign country that you have to negotiate a deal for passage through.
Yeah, and Walking Camel says it. We're landlocked right now, and we look after this pathetic country. That's the problem, is that we have to leave in order to get what's rightfully ours. We have to leave just so that we can go to British Columbia and say, okay, we played our hand at the table. Now you have to work with us. You can't say no pipelines. You can't say no tanker bans or no transport of oil. In order for you to survive, you're going to have to give it to us. Do you see how it changes, folks? That's a little thing called the status quo. Right now in Confederation, Alberta's status quo sucks because we're the country's credit card. We're the ones who boost the GDP throughout the country and give everybody their money so that they can enjoy the finer things in life. We're told to shut up and pay. But once we get our independence, once that golden goose leaves, the credit card is cut off, ladies and gentlemen. Well, then all of a sudden you have the country turning around saying to Alberta, oh, we really like you guys. Oh, we really need your products. Oh, how are we going to get our things through your province in order, or your republic at that point? I'm used to saying province. How are we going to get it through your republic in order for us to make ends meet over here in Canada now that you're gone? Well, now you're going to watch us remove our belt and bend you over and tell you all the things you're going to do for us. That's why they don't want us to leave, folks. It's all about control of the status quo. Alberta would be greater than Dubai if we left tomorrow. And I know a lot of people talk and say, a lot of people come in and say, that won't happen, Fringe. It won't be greater than Dubai. You won't have a great economy.
Where did all these liberals in the chat come from? Jeez.
Oh, well, this is the funny thing, that as soon as you start talking about this, all the bots come in. They flood the channels. This is why I'm saying, folks, you have to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. It's the bots flow in and they sit there and tell you, God, I was talking at the AGM this weekend. I had over a dozen comments repeatedly on Friday when I put out my video about the MOU telling me to go kill myself in the garage. Mrs. Fringe was playing damage control in the comment section. Now, of course, when you click on those accounts and see their history on the channel, 1 or 2 comments. They haven't been here very long. It's all bots. Somebody says, you do the best Trump on YouTube. You do a better Trump than Donald Trump. I think it's wonderful. I think you're wonderful. Thank you so much for the compliment. It's,
what's next? We have a few tidbits still if we want, or we can go to just
let's get a few tidbits and then we'll go to Q&A. We'll go to Q&A. I'm not sure. We haven't raised much for our vets tonight. Just a reminder for anybody who came in late. All super chats, memberships, everything coming into the channel is being donated to veterans to help veterans at Christmas this year. I'm taking it all the way up until a few days before Christmas, and then we'll cut it off. I'll put a date on it on Friday so people know the cutoff. All of our merch, book sales from Amazon, everything that goes out of this channel this month, folks, I'm taking none of it. It's all going to vets. So if you want to support our vets for Christmas, throw your stuff up in the channel. I wanted to set a record tonight. We didn't even get close. Well, we'll see what happens in this last little bit. What are these tidbits you got here, Matt?
So I saw somebody talking earlier about sending another $235 million to Ukraine, and I saw this tweet earlier. I sent it to Derek and Snatch. When pondering why a country that, this is American, but it applies up here. When pondering why a country that is $38 trillion in debt would give away $100 billion a year to other countries, I always reach the same conclusion. Foreign aid money is the easiest money for corrupt officials to steal, and that's the thing. All that foreign aid, that is the easiest way for them to take it and launder it and shove it back into their own pockets. That's why foreign aid will never stop. And that's why they don't want the wars or whatever it is, like we've covered it on the channel, the 28 million to this country for gender neutral rice and the 12 million to this country for gender studies for upside down Afghan farmers. It's
what is this? Tell your boy PP. Oh, this is a Barry. Tell your boy PP to stop giving our taxpayer money to a money laundering state. Look, the thing about that party, folks, and this is again why I said that I felt better leaving Danielle Smith's office than I did when I left Parliament Hill. I left Parliament Hill and said, I like Pierre. I almost sound like Trump when I'm doing that. I always hear it when I'm talking. I like Pierre. I think he's a nice guy. His wife is very nice.
So long, it's invaded your voice.
It's part of it. I'll tell you, Mrs. Fringe, anytime we're alone, she's like, don't you dare. You'll get a divorce. But it's I'll tell you, Pierre's a wonderful guy. I enjoyed the time I spoke with him because I get to talk with him away from the cameras. We talk with him outside of politics. So he's a nice guy. I almost think, like, we both graduated the same year. I would have gone to the same high school of his as him in Calgary had I have chosen the one opposite the one I went to, because I had two to pick from. We would have graduated together. Don't know if I would have known him in high school, because I hear he was pretty involved in politics, but we probably would have got along if we knew each other in our teens. However, people aside, you have to separate the person from the politics. When it gets to the politics and you see how Parliament Hill works, like I said, I told my wife, I don't want to go back there. I don't like what happens over there. It's not what you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I still push for Pierre. I still think the Conservatives have the best chance of fixing some of the things in this country. But when I left Danielle Smith's office, there was a different feeling. I wasn't just in there being applauded for what I was doing in order to gain something. I wasn't there to be brainwashed into buying into a cult. Danielle generally stood there, and allowed me to talk about my frustrations, to talk about the things that I thought were important to Alberta. And she gave me what I felt were honest answers. Very different from my meeting with Pierre. But when it comes to how we move forward, folks, that's where I'm saying you don't hold a politician on a pedestal. Don't put them on a pedestal, and don't say, oh, they could do no wrong. Like my daddy said earlier, I hate having to say that because it just sounds so gross. They can't walk on water. And they can't.
Speaking of what goes on in Ottawa, let's watch this for those of you who might have missed it. Do
you have the audio? Friend. Do you have your audio turned on?
Yeah, it should go.
When you share the screen, you have to click share the audio.
You guys getting that audio?
The honorable leader of the opposition.
Mr. Speaker, you can't build homes if you run out of the house. Right. And that's what the Prime Minister is doing right now.
So I don't know how that works. I mean, I do know how it works, and it's stupid. But how is it legal for the Prime Minister to just walk out of the house when being asked a question and just leave? Like, how's that allowed for how our politics is discussed and how it works? I don't understand.
It's funny because if you tune into tomorrow's video, what we point out there is just before that happened, Mark Carney was being chastised by the Bloc for doing a deal with Alberta. And for, well, when are you going to put through this MOU? What does this mean? What is it? And Mark Carney stands up and says, it's nothing. The MOU is nothing. I'm not going to commit to that. We're going to get 6 times the tax dollars, folks. So just shut up and allow it to go through, pretty much. And then he picks up his stuff. His portfolio's there full of his investments, and he leaves. And there's so many people in Ontario that voted with their elbows up that think that that's the greatest sentiment our Prime Minister, who's supposed to lead the entire country, not just Ottawa. I don't understand it. I really don't understand.
Yeah. I don't know. Nothing's good. It's all awful.
You need to get more of your supporters registered since too few of them vote. Well, look, when it comes to independence, you got to make sure you vote on that. But anything else,
say it all the time.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
Educate,
I don't push.
Can.
I will never vote federally again. I am telling you that right now. And the reason, because it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to give my support to Uniparty anymore. I backed Pierre in the federal election, and then I saw how everything went afterwards and kind of says, yeah, I'm not on this ship anymore. I'm for Alberta independence. I'm Albertan before I'm Canadian. And I hate saying that because I have a lot of Canadian viewers that they think that means I don't love the country anymore. I love Canada, but I love what it used to be. I hope that the rest of Canada gets what it needs, what it deserves. My province is a part of that country until we say otherwise. But while it's a part of this country, if somebody says, oh, you're from Canada, I'm from Alberta. That's the way I see it.
I don't see who could feel, I mean, unless you live in Mega City 1, who could feel like we've been represented for who we are as a country since 2015. It's gross.
Yep. I got people yelling about cowbell. We haven't done cowbell all night.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
There we go. CB says Alberta First merch. Alberta First merch. It's funny that you talk about that because we had Alberta First merch actually come out this week that I said is now on sale. Again, guys, it's all going to our vets. If you guys want to head over to the shop, here's the grift for the night. The Come On, Let's Go Alberta shirts are now available. Shirts and hoodies. You've got that on the front. You've got Independence on the back. Really snazzy. It's on both our shirts and our hoodies. Go and grab them. Go get them while they're hot. Again, it all goes to our vets. Everything's going to our vets this month. No profits over to the channel.
Does anybody have anything silly to ask? Let's get silly.
Let's get into the Q&A. What do you guys want to wrap up with the Q&A? Ask me anything as long as it's suitable. For the hoodies, you need zippers. They have zip-up ones. They're not as good. The quality isn't good, so I haven't added them. We're trying to find a new producer. See, Skrillex, every comment this person leaves is like a troll. I don't know if conservatives win, will Fringe be PO'd? Yeah, you know me, man. I just said for 20 minutes I like Pierre, and I think the conservatives could do the best.
If you make me choose between the Liberal government and a Conservative government led by Pierre Poilievre, I'm going to choose Pierre. It's going to be better, but it's still not good. It's better, but it's not awesome. I'm not excited about it.
Yeah. What do you think of Canada collaborating more with the EU? So we talked about that before the show. Matt and I were talking about it.
To suggest that Canada should join the US, but it's not treason to suggest that Canada should join the European Union. Explain it to me like my elbows are above my head.
Which appointment meeting are you referring to? When's the next appointment meeting?
Did you mean APP?
Or maybe APP? I'm not sure. You'd have to check APP's site. If you go to APP and go under events, they'll have them all listed there. Alberta Gamer, $2 super chat. Will the Whitecaps win the game Saturday? I don't know. I don't really pay attention. Sure. Let's just say sure, just to make you happy.
I got my hat. My daughter's best friend, her parents are like-minded, and they made them. They had a box of them in their garage when I went to pick Val up one time. I'm like, hey, you want a hat? I'm like, yes, I do. The Manitoba news is that Wab Canoe is personally, he took a nice photo op today. He's personally in the landfill searching for things. And that's about all I got on Manitoba.
What about BC, Matt? Something good happened in BC today.
Yeah, the Conservatives in BC ousted their leader, John Rustad, and they brought in a temporary leader whose name escapes me. I'm sure Cold Dead Hands, who just posted that message. That's my dad, by the way. Shout out to that dude in the audience for you guys. Cold Dead Hands is my dad. He's the reason why I hate everything so much. So he probably knows all about that. But yeah, I think they need to do kind of what Danielle did in when she brought the Wild Rose to the Conservatives. The Conservatives in BC should unite with one BC and kick the NDP to the curb. Mr. Eby, our favorite premier.
Megan RP, I got to shout out to Megan. Megan's amazing. She's one of my most dedicated viewers. Came all the way from Ontario how many times to see us at meet and greets? Will you run for premier of Back Transparency? No. I'll tell you why. Even if I had the push for that, if people backed that, if everybody said, hey, we want you, you're going to win, it's a shoo-in. I can't imagine, even as much as I question Danielle Smith, how difficult it is to do that job. I can't. I've said it before, folks, that the first thing I was told in business school, there's nothing you can do 100% of the time that's going to please people. The person who tries to is a fool. I would not want that job because, God, I make you guys mad off and on this channel. Could you imagine if I was in charge of 5 million of you? I don't think it would work out very well. I really don't.
The idea of Greater Alberta. What is Greater Alberta? Is that like including Saskatchewan and parts of BC and stuff?
Alberta's already great. What are we? Are we talking about a Western Republic like a BC, Alberta, Manitoba? Absolutely. If they're all on board and if they want to work within our system, keep in mind it's Alberta's system, not theirs. They would have to adopt our constitution. Then absolutely.
I have something for this.
Oh, do you? I'm trying to get Fringe to look it up. Look up what?
There we go.
What's Greg Wilson wanting me to look up? What is the order 13818 from 2017? I don't know what the hell it is. I'm not looking that up. I won't look up random things like that. It usually doesn't bode well. Let's take a look at what Matt's got.
So if I had my way, the Republic of the West would look something like this. The lower mainland down there, it can stay liberal. It can stay nothing. We would take the interior BC, all of Alberta, all of Saskatchewan, and just the northern half of Manitoba. Let's just get to Churchill. That's all we need. The rest can go away. That would be my ideal Republic of Western Canada. I mean, we can take chunks of the Yukon and the Northwest Territories if we want to, whatever. But this sort of is what I'd like to see right here.
Yep. I concur. I'd go with that. Or even the one to the right. Even the one to the right, and then but there's too much red on
that one?
On the edge. Yeah. Except get rid of the red on the West Coast. Just kick them all out and tell them to go east.
Yeah.
That's what I'd go with. The other provinces will join when they see how much prosperity there is in an independent Alberta. But that's the benefit of it all, folks, is that there's people that say, hey, I wish I was in Alberta so I could get the same kind of deal or the same lifestyle or so that we could leave as well. What you don't realize is that if Alberta was prosperous on its own and we annexed those parts of Canada, that they said, look, we need to get in. I need in at Alberta. It's wonderful. They've got so much money and so many great things. If it happens, well, you just have to adopt our laws and be a part of it. British Columbia would do that. Saskatchewan's already in the works. They have the Saskatchewan Prosperity Project. You've got Manitoba. At least the conservative end of it would come. They're going to come. And we'd do very well. We'd do very well.
Yes, for our American viewers, our colors are reversed up here. Our conservatives are blue. Our liberals are red.
Yep.
And we have the NDP as a third party, and they're orange.
Hang on, JP. Have you guys heard of Northwest Territories wanting to join Alberta? I have not. I mean, you always hear rumblings through things, but nothing concrete, nothing published that I have on that. JP, $10 super chat. Thank you so much. We only want Alberta and Saskatchewan. We are the only ceded land. Well, yeah. What's funny is the arguments that are going on in British Columbia right now about the groups that say, oh, you can't build pipelines here, you can't do this, you can't do... These are special interest groups. They're not even the reserves. They're not even their chiefs. They're paid special interest groups of Indigenous that are coming out to bitch and moan. Keith Wilson had a great thing on that. Maybe I'll put that into a video for you guys. Which, by the way, one of the things I should update people on, the Fringe has been slacking a little bit when it comes to videos and content on the channel. Part of the problem was when Lori moved in, her desk is literally 7 feet from where I'm sitting because the layout of my basement. She had to work during the day, and sometimes when I'm filming, she's got to be on a call or doing different things. So my videos have been kind of spaced out, and people often say, hey, Fringe, I come here and sometimes you've got things that are old, some things that are a few days old. What happened to being on the fly? Starting next week, I'll be able to do that and you'll start seeing more content on the channel. So good news with Lori finding her prosperity is that now this channel can get back to its prosperity. So keep your eyes peeled for that, folks.
Make Derek's basement great again.
I'll make my basement great again. It's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. I got to be honest. You got Sean saying they don't want Alberta to prosper. The Libs and Dippers just want to keep their knee on the neck of the province and stick with the status quo. Well, that's the problem. And that's what I was talking about earlier with the God, OAO, every time I see his comments, I don't even want to acknowledge them. I'm not doing toilet streams. What are we? God.
What?
I don't know what's sick fantasies.
Why?
Mike TV, bring back the pinball table. I don't have the room for it. I don't have the room in the studio for it, or I would. I'm actually selling the pinball table that used to be in my studio. because I got a new digital pinball table. So I can't bring it back in. I'm sorry. That's kind of the reason I have the little arcades behind me, because they fit. I forgot what I was talking about now because I got derailed by OAO. And toilet streams. Where is it? The status quo. I was talking about the status quo. This is what I was mentioning earlier when I said the status quo is in the federal government's favor right now, and Confederation. Once we change the status quo in Alberta, once we become a republic, folks, all doors open for us to say, no, now you got to start doing what we say, or you can't get your products to market. You can't get your stuff through us. We can put a train ban through our province. We can refuse to sell you our oil and gas. Who are you going to buy it from? The United States? Not going to work out so well, is it? Mr. Fringe is one of maybe 4 trustworthy news networks in Canada. Wow! I appreciate that. Thank you. I got a lot of flack over the last couple of days. It's kind of nice. My daddy, I'm looking at you. No, I'm joking. People are allowed to have their frustrations. I get it. I get it when people say, hey, it's flip-floppy. Hey, it's this way or the other. But like Matt said earlier, new things come in. And what I'm focused on, folks, is how do you guys get all the information that we can give you? And how does Alberta gain its independence? That's it. That's it. It's not that complicated.
That's the bottom line, because the Fringe said so.
We're gonna get it moving. Independence has to work. Again, stay with the channel tomorrow, folks. Jeff Rath is coming on to talk about this disastrous interview Danielle did, and maybe where APP goes from here and how we get ahead. We have to get ahead.
That is the bottom line. We are just trying to give you the best and most accurate information that we can, and the target is always Alberta independence. So if you take nothing else from us, if you think, Derek's flip-flopping or I'm this or he's that, that is the goal. Out in the open, as we state. We want you guys to have as much information as you can. We want you guys to read the bills, read the laws, read the price of freedom, read everything. And listen to what we say and what we give you, and listen to our opinions, and then get your information and form your own opinions, and then come back here and talk to us about it.
Andrea saying, Derek, will it be a live show? No, I'm doing the interview very early with Jeff. The viewers wouldn't be around. Here's the problem with YouTube. YouTube will only notify you 3 times daily of videos or live streams dropping on the channel. So if I want you guys to get the information that is important to you, I can only put out 3 things a day. That includes, like today, I had 2 videos I wanted to put out and a live stream. But what happened was I put out my first video, and you guys all saw, well, most people saw this morning, there was an audio issue. YouTube screwed up on that. I had to delete and reshoot the video to put it out a second time for you. So that takes up my second video drop, meaning I couldn't release the video about Mark Carney that's coming tomorrow, or else you guys wouldn't have been notified the stream was live tonight. So I got to be very careful how I do those things. It's all about the schedule of the channel. So keep your eyes peeled, folks. I will do it as a recorded video. That way everybody's notified properly when videos drop on the channel. Again, the interview with Jeff should drop late morning, early afternoon tomorrow if you're on Alberta time. If you're over Eastern Canada, later in the afternoon would be my guess. Excuse me, Imperial Tiger. $5 super chat. Support for independence from Northern Alberta. I appreciate that. Thank you. You've supported our veterans. I really appreciate that. Does Alberta have lots of snow right now? I don't know about most of Alberta. I know we got snow tonight. I know Calgary got a dump of snow.
Even where I am, there's barely any snow, but it's going to be minus 34 tonight, so that'll be great.
We're way over. We're 10 minutes over. Guys, I got to wrap up the stream. Thank you to everybody who joined us tonight. Thank you for everybody who put up with my flip-flopping and all the nonsense. Again, join me for Jeff Rath tomorrow. We got a lot to move forward on independence. We got to find our footing and how we move forward while keeping our emotions in check. We're calling it like it is on this channel, folks. We do it live. Join me for that interview. It's going to be great.
Feelings.
Your feelings? Fuck your feelings. We're not. I'm not fluffing anything up. Let's join me tomorrow for Jeff Rath. It's going to be great, folks. We got great content coming out on the channel. Content coming Friday as well. Join myself and Mrs. Fringe in the studio Friday night. We'll be talking more about everything that happened this week. It's going to be a great show. I'm going to have a lot more Donald, a lot more memes, a lot more fun in that stream. We always do, folks. Matt can't put up with the fun. We got to take it a little more serious with him around here. Only kidding. Thank you to everybody for being here. And thank you for all the support. I really appreciate each and every one of you, your kind words, your support with the videos, your subscribing, liking, commenting. You guys really make my life so enjoyable on this platform. It'll never change. With that, ladies and gentlemen, look after yourselves. Stay warm if you're in a cold spot. And from Matt and myself, we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.